Most taxpayers should not be surprised or necessarily worried if they received an IRS adjustment letter. Now, this letter usually concerns itself with detailing incorrect information entered on your filing. This information can be contested in dispute if you feel like an error has been made. And Yahoo News has said that if your letter requires a response or other action, take care of it as soon as possible. If you owe money to the IRS, you want to deal with it right away. Now, here's some big news from Joe Manchin. Joe Manchin is among the popular senators in the country after seeing his favorability skyrocket back home over the past year. Now, reports say that Manchin has faced backlash from progressives nationally. About 57% of West Virginia voters viewed him favorably in results. Now, his popularity jumped 17 points, which is more than any other senator compared to the same period last year. Manchin has frequently staked out his positions that found him at odds with the White House and progressive leaders. But I believe that President Biden, Democrats, Republicans, and Joe Manchin can do something for the American people. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments.
I want to talk today about one of the worst repeat offenders in our entire financial system, Wells Fargo. In 2016, Wells Fargo's fake account scandal was exposed. The company's leadership had squeezed their employees to create 3.5 million unauthorized bank accounts. Director Chopra, do you recall how much Wells Fargo was fined in 2016 for this fake account scandal?
I want to say it was $185 million.
That's right, including $100 million of that was from the CFPB. Now, that was a big fine, and CFPB and other regulators were right to impose it. But keep in mind that Wells Fargo booked more than $5 billion in profits that year. So maybe we shouldn't be surprised that a fine alone was not enough to persuade Wells Fargo to follow the law. Because over the next few months, the following scandals came to light. Wells forced consumers to buy unneeded car insurance. They changed information on customers' documents without authorization, and they illegally repossessed cars from service members. In 2018, the regulators finally said enough, and under then Chair of the Federal Reserve, Janet Yellen's leadership, the Fed put a cap on Wells Fargo's growth. Now, that was pretty shocking at the time, but it still wasn't enough to get Wells to follow the law. Since that time, Wells has closed customers' accounts without authorization, damaging people's credit reports, and just to rub salt in the wound, continued to charge them overdraft fees even after those accounts were closed. Wells has also been fined by the SEC for recommending unsuitable products to mom-and-pop investors. It put up to 1,600 customers into forbearance without their consent. And just a few months ago, Wells was hit with another fine by the OCC and a new consent order because the bank is still screwing over consumers. It appears that cheating customers is simply in Wells Fargo's DNA. Director Chopra, the asset cap on Wells was a much-needed step, but it's clear we're dealing with the baddest of the bad here. What other steps should regulators consider to hold Wells Fargo and other corporations that break the law over and over, to hold them accountable?
Well, I don't want to comment on any specific case, but here's what I see. I see federal enforcers and regulators are very quick to lay the hammer down on small guys and small businesses. They will name people individually. They will ban them from certain business practices and often criminally refer them for prosecution. But there is a totally different standard for large firms who break the law over and over again. Yes, they do pay a fine, but often it is less than the profits